Hi Pisces, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. A quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and descendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Pisces, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they speak to you. With that said, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So your key to the week this week is the Hierophant card. So on a more sort of mundane level, very often this can represent our rituals, our habits, our patterns, the things that we really do in earnest. And so this week you're being asked to pay attention to what you put your time, your effort and your energy and your thought into on a consistent basis. Now on a more sort of professional sphere, this card really pays attention to the authority figures in your life, in your work, in your business. This week it does suggest that you may be coming up against some sort of red tape. You might be coming up against the institution or the authority as it is delineated in your own life in some way, shape or form. And then finally, the Hierophant card is actually, believe it or not, a very beautifully spiritual card, but it's more about the practical steps that we take in our spirituality. This is why I mentioned rituals and all the rest of it, because this really does represent those things in the material plane. So this week there's quite a few, well, there's at least 3 different areas across which you are probably going to be asked to really step up in some way, shape or form. For your actions and options this week, you have the Tower card. I've got to say this, Pisces, when it comes to your work, when it comes to your professional sphere, there may be some big changes coming up. Remember, the Tower card is very rarely an easy upheaval. It does suggest to me that there is some sort of big news on its way to you that you may not necessarily be ready for or prepared for. In a lot of ways, the Tower card, I mean, this is your actions and options, right? So this could be you making a very surprise decision in a lot of ways. You know, maybe you could be saying, right, okay, you know what? I'm going to start looking for a new job in a different industry. You could be saying, you know what, I am done with this line of work. I'm done with this place that I'm living in. There is some sort of big change on the horizon for you that is going to really, quite frankly, is going to upset the apple cart. The other thing is as well, because your actions and options section represents you, this could be that there is some big change or big upheaval that's about to hit that you may not necessarily be as yet aware of, or maybe you're aware of it, you've known it's coming for some time, you just haven't known what to do with it. Well, this week you won't have any you won't have any choice but to deal with it, right? Because it's going to come up. For your communications and conversations, you have the 4 of Pentacles. So lots of talks about finances, money, resources. For some of you, this could literally be talks with a financial institution. Maybe you're talking to a bank. Maybe you're talking to a finance manager. Maybe you are looking at your facts and figures in some way, shape or form. Remember, the Hierophant is the bigger institutions. And the 4 of Pentacles is all about money. So that is usually things like banks, building societies, accountants, you know, things to do with money, things to do with finances. This looks like it's going to be a big part of your focus when it comes to your communications this week, and possibly to do with your work. For those of you that work for somebody else, you've got the 4 of Pentacles. Well, if there is a big shake-up coming into your work sphere, and it does come from the employer, it looks like you're safe, but I have to say probably only by the skin of your teeth. I don't know why, but I feel like you're going to be having some big conversations when it comes to your work, your career and your profession this week. So just be aware that that is coming up. The other thing is, a person in authority may announce this week that they are leaving in some way, shape or form. For those of you that work for yourselves, business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this could see you aligning with a big institution of some sort. It could see you working in, with or around the corporate sector. It might see you delving into that world or back into that world. and it might be where you're just kind of thrust into it in some way. I mean, it's not a bad energy. It just looks like, obviously, because you got the Tower card there, it kind of feels like you're not really in control of any of the changes that are going to happen. So they're just going to happen regardless. For those of you that are retired or no longer working for any reason, I mean, slightly different energy. The Four of Pentacles is really about you looking at your grounding and security. The Hierophant card, maybe you're looking into what to do with the finances that you have, or maybe you're looking into a way where you can utilize the, you know, or maybe even access the money that's in your house. Let's say you've already paid off your mortgage. This week you could be asking yourself, how can I access some of this money that is the equity in my home, but safely, you know? You've got the Tower card in the actions and options. So I just want to say to you, this week, rash decisions will lead to rash results. So just be aware of that. Remember as well, there is a Mercury retrograde still going on. Yes, it will be direct in 2 days after this week finishes. But even still, you just want to make sure that you are thinking things through and that you have all of the information. The deception energy with the current astrology is very high anyway. And sometimes not because people are going out of their way to be dishonest, but because things are genuinely unclear right now. For your money and materials, you have the Three of Pentacles. This suggests to me that you don't have all the information when it comes to your money, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your resources. It is the Three of Pentacles, so maybe you're getting some sort of advice, or you've been getting some sort of advice around money, around finances that you refused to hear. And because you've got that Tower card, it's kind of like whatever information or advice has been given to you, you've chosen consistently to ignore it. Unfortunately, this week, I don't think you're going to have the luxury of continuing to bury your head in the sand. So you are going to have to, in some way, shape or form, and I say this to be firm but to be kind, you've got to pull your head out of the sand, Pisces. You need to come back into the moment, because something looks like it's off kilter, and it's like you're trying to ignore it, and I don't think you're going to be able to this week. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is your stomach, your digestive system, that whole sort of general, no, I'm lying, ignore me. This is your bones, your skeleton, and your teeth specifically. So that whole sort of aspect of self, especially your structure, because now I see you've got this Four of Pentacles here as well. You've got to look after your health this week, all right? Especially like your bones. You know, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, and I'm not saying there's anything, you know, suddenly your skeleton's going to fall apart. I'm just saying, look after your physical structure this week, look after yourself. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, well, look, this week, I'm just going to say it looks like you will be having a conversation or some communication that is not going to be easy, but unfortunately, you're going to have it anyway. And then finally, when it comes to your love and relations, you have the Page of Cups. All right, so this is really nice. There is support from the loved ones, from the family, from the people. It may be that you are asked to step in and fulfill that role, though. So this week, I would just be aware that your assistance may be called upon for something in some way, shape, or form. Now, for those of you that are single, if you are meeting somebody, looks like they very likely work in the finance sector or in the business finance sector of some kind. Like, whoever this person is, they're very earthy, very likely to be a Taurus or a Capricorn. It's just like a very earth-based energy, somebody that's very strong, very stable, very solid, you know, which is great, especially because you bring the watery sort of element to them. So, you know, it's a harmonious connection. And then for those of you that are partnered or in relationships, in a long-term relationship, what I love most about this combination of cards, it suggests that there is a fresh start in the relationship, right? You are seeing something very clear or in a very different way. And I kind of feel like this is because somebody has highlighted something to you that's made you think, wow, okay, you know what? I really missed it. And so you're able to be more present in the relationship now than you have been previously, which is not a bad thing at all. I think, especially with the Page of Cups as well, Trust your intuition this week. You're going to have a nudge or a hunch when it comes to relationships, or even your own partner if you have one, that is going to kind of have you go, okay, this is what I might not have seen, or this is what I might have missed. All in all though, it doesn't look like a terrible week. It just looks like a week where you are going to have to be focused and present. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.